Okay, who are you and how would you describe your work? Well, I am Zhi Zhulu. My artist name is Zhi Zhulu, and I am an illustrator. I'm a storyteller. I'm a illustration lecturer, and I'm a master's student, and I'll always be a student of life. Um, how I would describe my work is, whew, how do I describe my work? Okay, well, I'm an advocate for storytelling. I try to capture the human form quite a lot. I love capturing emotions. I think that that's really awesome. Um, I tend to favor realism, aspects of that, of course, while mixing it with you know, pungent and very strong, flat, bright color. I like using flat color in my work. Oftentimes, I house my work by, fine liner strokes of line, and that's just the breakdown of the visual aspects of my work. But in terms of the content behind it, I think I'm an advocate for recording culture. I am very interested in trying to record my own personal cultural standpoint. The reason that I started storytelling in the art realm is because I did not know a lot about my culture and I wanted to discover more through my art. So my quest is basically to have a more contemporary take and visualization of my experience of my Zulu culture that I'm very proud of and how I, you know, navigate through this globalized world that we're living in. So that's basically the base of my work. And lastly, I am very passionate about influencing the education sector in some way, shape, or form. And this is why I try to lean towards storytelling, capturing and recording culture, and trying to get people to look at illustrations as a helpful tool to educate. So that's what my work's about. That's what I'm about. Has been your favorite project or artwork to work on and why? Um, okay. This is hard to choose. It's probably like a top five, but I'll probably narrow that down to being a top two. I think um, my second favorite project to have worked on was the practical component of my master's study. It was basically a comic book that contained a story about the experiences and the ways of conducting business and the ancient traditions of a specific community in South Africa. So, what was cool about that was I got to go into the community, speak to people, formulate a plot, and you know basically build a story, which was very cool. And the story kind of has a multi-purpose. It serves as a little bit of a business guide, a little bit of a history lesson, and just a relatable story for that community to kind of learn from and grow from. And this story was told in the form of a comic book, so it was the first time that I had seriously done a comic book, and and it was a lot of work. I did all of it on my phone and it was fun. But my number one project has to be the first children's book that I ever illustrated and published. It was um it was a project with Collaborate Community, which is a really dope organization that kind of goes into the community and gets um kids from underprivileged communities to write stories. And then they give these stories to illustrators, South African illustrators, to create a picture book from. So that was really cool. What inspires you to create your work? Wow. I think inspiration comes from a number of places, quite a lot of places. I think the initial inspiration for me to create my work was something that was inspired by my spiritual journey, my cultural journey, my educational journey, all of those combined kind of inspire me to create more work, especially if it's work for myself or work for the community. Um, I do strongly believe that illustration is a service. You're providing a service to people. And in that sense, you use whatever skills or talent that you've attained to satisfy and please the eye of people while giving them something to think about. So I think I'm very inspired by that being the base premise of why I create and what my work entails. Um, I do like to showcase storytelling and humor in my work. Oftentimes, I like to show I like to show people of my culture in a space of pride and regality, if that's a word. I like to make them look powerful, um, and yeah, I just enjoy creating images and trying to capture emotions and human experiences that I, feel and see in my life. But I think the very, very basis of my work is very spiritual, and I think a lot of artists can agree with that. So yeah, it's the spiritual that inspires me. My ancestors definitely keep me going and inspire me and show me how to do things in life, if that makes sense. Okay, so I had to make space for the last question. The last question is, which which artist or creatives are you influenced by or do you see as visionary? Okay, you're another few to choose from. I would say I'd have to narrow it down to two as well. Um Firstly, Cindy Sonyoni. Hello. I think since since I was studying, he's been setting the bar pretty high for very high for illustrators like um, whether it comes to his drawing style, his illustration style, the accomplishments that he's made, and the moves that he's made in the industry. Um, I just think what he does and how he does the work that he does is insane and it's incredible. And it's also nice to know that he's like a big brother mentor to me, which is really nice. He took the time to teach me how to be an illustrator, like a freelance illustrator. So I'll always, you know, be thankful for that. And I think just aside from him being a good person, he's a brilliant illustrator, and he's always a source of inspiration. Whenever I'm trying to create a new artwork, I have to look at what is he up to, what has he done, and how can I even strive to be better. So yes, Cindy Sonyoni. And then last but not least, and obviously Karabo Popi Moletsane. Like, she is insane. She's a very, very brilliant creative, and what's amazing is that she's kind of paved the way for us upcoming illustrators to see that, oh, there is actually a way to be extremely successful in the industry. And aside from that, her style, her aesthetic is very striking and bold, and the content that drives her work is very powerful, and it has deeply inspired me to create. So and just aside from that, her overall demeanor, her overall work, everything that she's done, it's a long list of accomplishments, and it's really cool to see someone pave that way so that you can see that it's possible to do anything with illustration. So yes, Cindy Sonyoni, Karabo Popi Moletsane, top two.